Good afternoon, darlings. Have we got a lot to cover today? I'm going to try and make it as simple as possible, but I'm going to basically show you lots and lots of things and let you join all those dots, because if I start trying to explain everything, I think that you will have enough sensitivity to pick up on the humongous joining dots that is upon us at the moment. So off we go. So in my last video, I spoke about Hartley Hare. So 103 pH. So Hesperus and Phosphorus, HP Harry Potter, perfect harm on ye, harmonic procession, that balance between the pH and the HP brown source. So Hesperus is the evening star, Venus as the evening star, and Venus is rising now as the morning star, Phosphorus. So here we've got Hartley Hare in Gemini on Pollux right now, as Hartley Hare was last week, and for the attack in Aras to Hare. And we've got Harry very much in the news. Oh, we've got the Vesica Pisces here, right there. So Hartley, Hare, George, Harry, Krishna, the Aras to Hare, Harry and Meghan Markle, the mark of L, Mary Magdalene, and we've got Venus, we've got Enki here as well, the Ankh, the key, the Cairo, the key, Mars, Sun. So right this instant, right now, we've got Sun and Mercury conjunct on Spica, but Mercury is not blinded by the Sun. He is superior, not inferior, and this means that he's not blinded. He's very powerful. He's at home, the ruler of Virgo. So where are the... Here we go. Right. So we've got Virgo and we've got Hartley Hare, who's just moved out now of Gemini. But for this attack, we had on the 13th, Friday, Vendredi, Venus Day, Black Friday, for the eclipse. The eclipse, which is that marriage, that merging of the sun and moon that we had then on the 14th. Right there. And today, the 18th, we're getting ready because Venus is going to be its brightest for September the 19th. Astronomers call the September 19th event a greatest brilliancy of Venus. So we had in Arras in France, which is Hawaii 50, the latitudes of Arras is 50 north. And we got that 2. And I was telling you that the famous film Betty Blue, in English it was called Betty Blue, but in French it was called 37.2 degrees. And we got 7775 east. So northeast, like Israel, northeast on that 50. And that is the time that Venus was hidden, and now Venus is rising as the morning star in the east. And Venus is in the summer triangle, the spring triangle. So here is the spring triangle. If we go back to the 13th, the attack in Aras, and the 14th, so there's the eclipse. We've got Mars, Sun, Mercury, Enki, Venus, right on Regulus, and the spring triangle between Arcturus, Spica, and Denebola, but also Regulus. So I saw the last video of Crystal Time. I don't often see her videos, but I just happened to fall on her recent video, which was brilliant, very short, straight to the point. And here she's pointing out that George Washington, we've got in this famous painting, we've got the spring triangle. So I don't know how she does it because I'm just so untechnological. I wish I knew how to put these lines here. But there we see Venus on Regulus, Spica, Arcturus. This article is interesting because they show us the diamond, the great diamond, which is in fact what we see with Diana, Dodi, Harods. Here we've got Harry, Ari, Ra, Arods. And they put this spring triangle with Altair, the great diamond, which is, which is the summer triangle. It's the summer triangle, Sagittarius, but we've got that diamond in Harrods, R-Ra, D-Day, D&D. Crystal's video, she's explaining the golden bough, which she says is the harvest, it's the golden wheat. Your Spica is the star of you reap what you sow, and also the golden bough, the passage, the bridge. So here it says that it's the passage into the underworld before entering the underworld, which is very much this passage that we're living now. People are either falling more into the underworld or you're finding this higher passage, you're finding that arc, you're finding that third eye, the eyes on the horizon. Those are the breasts, the two breasts that make the breast of Venus above that third eye. So you can go and see Crystal's video, which explains this very well. Crystal Time. Stabbing in Arras. Teacher killed. And here I'm going to take you to see this. The Wedding Arras Ceremony Guide, Washington, D.C. Holistic Wedding Planner. So we've got an attack at the Gambetta High School. Alpha, Omega, Alpha, Beta, Omega, Gamma. Gamma, Beta. Okay, so we've just had another stabbing in Brussels. So Arras, Brussels, AB, ABBA, Abracadabra. It's the Alpha, Omega, and in between the Gamma, Beta. So Gamma, Beta, the distribution of light and shade in a picture, a person who is fond of good eating. So, very much this, you've got this passage between the light and the shades. What does this say here? Gamba, Gambado, Gamba, stop. Leon, French statesman, prime minister. So Leon, the lion, he organized the resistance during the Franco-Prussian War, 1870-71, founder of the Third Republic. So a nickname for a person with some peculiarity of the legs or gait, from a diminutive of gamba, leg. This name is also found, right, so, you know, this, we've got the pirate with the limp, Jape the peg with an extra leg, and the gangster, the limping, the limp. There's a problem with the gate, to open the gates. So when we look at this wedding Aras ceremony guide, the word ara, which comes from the Latin arai, so spider in French is araignée, and you have those, you know, from it, electrocrystallization, which is what this man Andrew crossed. We're at the mutable cross passage into the fixed cross. It's what we have in Scotland, Andrew's cross, and then we have this famous man in this period called Andrew Cross with an E, who created from electrocrystallization spiders, the Spider-Man. And Ishtar, this is the rising of the eastern star, Venus. She is the weaver, she is the holder of the tapestry, of the labyrinth. So Ara means to promise. The ritual itself is a mutual promise that relates to moral and financial support. When does this ritual happen? The wedding Aras ritual happens after the exchanging of wedding vows and the blessing of the rings. Lavette's video on this eclipse, she explains, you know, what this eclipse really is. It's this marriage, it's this merging. So here we've got in Aras on the day before the eclipse, the stabbing of a teacher and 3 other people wounded. So that last phase of the moon is wiped out, is stabbed out. What does it say? So he shouted, Alu Agaba. It's always that AA, which is the Altair star, or God is greatest during the attack. So he was a 20-year-old Russian national, Mohammed Mugashov. So we've got our Mary Magdalene, Meghan Markle, is of Chechen origin and known to the security services for his involvement in Islam. As a former pupil at the school, he alarmed teachers with his views. So there was one person stabbed. There have been stabbings everywhere. You see down here we've got stab, 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 and Mars. Right now, as I'm speaking, we've got Mercury, Sun conjunct. We've got Mars still in Virgo. He entered Virgo since the end of August, and this is where the 5th of October, the 22nd of September, stabbing. So a lot of knives, Mars. Got a nunnery lane. So Virgo the nun. 3 teenagers had been stabbed in Nunnery Lane. September the 30th. Got Mars in the nun. So the sun entered the 17th. Back to the wedding. So the word ara, which comes from the Latin arae, means to promise. The ritual itself is a mutual promise that relates to moral and financial support. When does this ritual happen? The wedding Aras ritual happens after the exchanging of wedding vows and the blessing of the rings. So it was a ring of fire, eclipse, Lord of the Rings, Seigneur des Anneaux. Ring in French is the same word as lambs, anneau, lamb, Islam, his lamb. In the traditional Aras giving and meaning, the groom gives the bride 13 coins as a promise that he will provide for the family and share all his treasure with her. The bride accepts the coins, stating that she will be a careful administrator of their wealth. So Virgo, the material girl. Today, since both partners are ordinarily breadwinners, this beautiful custom continues to reflect the religious and spiritual intent of a united couple, managing finances, sharing their abundance, and caring for each other through pair. Why 13 coins? 12 of the coins represent the 12 months of the year, so the 12 apostles, the 12 signs. The 13th, which is representative of Jesus. So we always have, that is your middle, that is the heart, that is what Ophiuchus has now taken. Ophiuchus in the heart, those 12 signs, this passage, the serpent bearer. And what does he do? He stands on Scorpio. He takes that line of Isis and Osiris between Taurus, killing Scorpio. This is just the Milky Way snake. And that head and that tail is now entering the feminine axis. And where are all these terrorist attacks? The alarm is being risen in Europe. So there he's standing on the scorpion, that is Europe. So it's your NASA. It's rising between Mercury and Jupiter, between Gemini and Sagittarius, and Scorpio and Taurus. This new axis, because, you know, all these attacks are coming as Saturn is at home in Aquarius, and he is the true astrologer. And we've got this, the whole NASA, outer space, the Elon Musk. 13th of August, that's the Leo month, August. And on the 13th, Venus was, she was between the sun and earth, and she does that every 19 months. And on the August the 13th, what did we have at Hare? Hare is a stud farm of the pin, your pineal gland. We had the European eventing championships that took place between the 9th and the 13th of August at Hare du Pin, at that very important moment where Venus was right between Earth. So it did that last on August the 13th. Now Venus is about to come back to our sky, this time in the east. So this is what I was explaining in the last video. And tomorrow Venus is going to be its brightest in the morning sky on September the 19th. Here we've got statue of the serpent and the lion. We've got the lion killing the serpent here. So when will we have Hare, who kills Mary Magdalene, Meghan Markle which is what I think is going to happen next, she will be named. So Eiffel Tower, the lion killing the serpents, and we have here in the Louvre, Hercules killing the serpents. And now we've got rising statue of Apollon. So this is that merging of the Sun and Mercury as we have today. We've got the moon on Scorpio carrying the Lyra, the Vega, and there he is taken the fertility. He's taken the fertility. Statue de Apollon. So right, and he's of Apollon right here, and then this is what statue at the Trocadero? Another one. Hercules with the torso, the Taurus, and you've got Hercules. So that's the east and the west, the snake, Scorpio, and Taurus. You've got him on each side, one with his right arm up and his left arm, the two corners, and here Apollo and Hercules. 13th, this is what's happening now, in my opinion. It's about finding that passage to the 0 point, to the central, to the heart of that Vesica Pisces, the L, the 3773, 3773 is the mathematical Vesica Pisces. It's the lens, it's the eye, it's the passage or the gap. That 13th, 14th sign is being risen as, you know, that northeast, Aras attacks in the northeast, Israel in the northeast. So it's either your ability to have the shade, to merge the shade and the light, to have that eternal passage through the triangle like we see in 50 years of Dark Side of the Moon. So that is very, very interesting with this 13 coins. This is Washington, D.C. wedding planners, and they offer you the Aras ceremony guides. We've got the George, Hare's son, the Hare Krishna, sung by George Harrison. The Gorge is the valley, it's the passage, it's the throat. It's this passage, it's what Crystal was explaining with the golden bow. It's the boat, it's the journey, it's the passage. It's what we see in I Pet Goat too as well. It's the passage through the Ishtar gates, the Seigneur des Anneaux of the waters. You see the images. Got this passage through here. Anneaux is the rings, Lord of the Rings. Spider-Man, Andrew Cross. So, conducting another electrocrystallization experiment, when on the 26th day of the experiment he saw what he described as the perfect insect standing erect on a few bristles which formed its tail. So all this electricity that is going to be coming out of sustainable, the whole new sustainable. Today on the radio they were saying that they want to stop, the aeroplanes are going to be more and more taxed, air, and coming more and more into electric travel, from cars to trains to any form of creating this new plasma Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, also referred to as the Ma mantra, so we've got MM again, is a 16 words mantra composed of Sanskrit names Hare, Krishna and Rama. It is a poetic 8 syllables, so the mantra as rendered in the oldest exultant written source, we've got Ha Rama, Ha Rama, Rama Rama, Ha 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 Ha, Ha Krishna, Ha Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. So we're in the year of the hare, and we've got Hares and Hares and Aras and Ra. These are the Aryans, Aryan race. So this is interesting what they're talking about here about the swastika, which is just the Big Dipper. Jumping around a lot, but it's the best I can do. I've just got so much going on in my head. So at the moment, fall equinox, Aries, Ra, Aryan is this part of the world. We've got, I said in the last video something would happen in New Zealand. I said that because of Aquarius, where Saturn is now government in Aquarius, and I was talking about Hartley Hare and Hipkins, the hare, and that day of the eclipse we had the Hipkins has been replaced by far right. Abandons Labour and shifts to the right as country votes for wholesome change. Hipkins became emotional and was met with cheers of Chippy, his nickname, from his supporters. Here we've got, right now, today, we've got the moon right on Antares. We've got that first slither of a waxing crescent, and the moon is building up to its first quarter on the 21st. So on the 21st, will the moon be on noon key? It will. This star, noon key, the elbow that goes right into Europe. Here's the chart for the 21st. So 21st, we're building up to the next eclipse that will be a partial lunar eclipse on the 28th. The partial lunar eclipse on the 28th will have Venus still just in Leo, rising above the ecliptic. We've got Sun still in Virgo. Okay, I've got another hornet. Mercury, Mars already in Libra. And we've got Venus right on this star, also considered part of the spring triangle, Denebola, Denebola. We've got the Sun almost conjunct to Arcturus, and the Moon in Pisces, the moon star, the monster. Moon just at the end of Pisces, coming into Aries as the head of the Milky Way snake has just moved from Aries into Pisces, giving us that partial eclipse. Jupiter now moved away from Uranus. Uranus still on Medusa, this energy of the new phosphorus, morning star rising. Quarter moon, first quarter moon on the 21st of October. We've got Mars, Mercury, Sun, South Node, all between Virgo and Libra. Mars is still in Virgo. Mercury, Sun are still in Virgo. These constellations aren't correct. Mercury is the largest constellation opposite Pisces, where the moon will be for the 28th. The moon at this time is in the summer triangle. And so we've got mainly this connection here between the spring and the summer triangle. The moon will be conjunct to Pluto, 21st. It's the sun in Virgo and the moon coming up to conjunction. It's going to be right conjunct to Pluto under Altair, making this big square from Pluto to the Sun, Mercury and Mars and the moon. So making this connection as Pluto is retrograde, but still in Sagittarius, the teapot constellation. And where will Hartley Hare be? So we've got Enki in Virgo and we've got Hartley bang opposite the moon and Pluto. Jupiter, retrograde, ruler of Sagittarius, ruler of Pisces, making a big trine to Venus. And Saturn also making a trine to this conjunction of Sun, Mercury and Mars. And we're entering this area of the abyss. Neptune is going to be entering into Pisces as Pluto enters into Capricorn. It's this feminine energy as the head of the snake is also entering Pisces. Neptune, after his retrograde, he's going to go forward. Saturn is going forward very soon. And is going to be moving forward on the 4th of November. And Neptune will be moving forwards on December the 6th. So we've got that 10-6 again. So that was the war began on that 6-7. I'm reading this book about Hare and his nickname. He called himself something 6-7, which was the dates as we see on the Mad Hatter's top hat. We see that 10-6. So 10-6, we've got Neptune moving forwards. Uranus won't move forward until the 26th of January. Jupiter moves forward on the 30th of December. And then we've got Pluto moving forwards. Already moved forward. That was the big thing in my last video, the 10-10. So Pluto's now moving forward back to Capricorn, and that energy of him already moving forward, working with all these planets here, It's coming back to Capricorn, and then Neptune will be moving forward. Neptune will be moving forward on November the 4th. So when Neptune moves forward, then she's going to be for 15 years in the abyss in Pisces. And this is the area of fear. This is the unconscious collective. This is the abyss. This is everything that opposes that grounded material girl. And this is where we're bringing up the whole mental health, and we're bringing up this energy of the healers, all the healers, the gurus, the developers, the mental health gang. And this makes me think of RAS, Hare, Rasputin, the Rasta Mars Wars in Virgo. So Mars is in Virgo, Virgin, Ras, Hamas, Xmas, Ra's Ma, so the Ma of Ra, Plasma Man, Ya Love, Lion, Zion, Ion, the Ion, your crane, vertical, line, Nile, and the new horizon, hormonalizer, horizon, Putin. 13th sign chakra is Mo's cow, Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer, Gregory the 13th, and he's called Grigory. He's called his name there. He's called Grigory, which gives us the GG. And we had, of course, the Julian and the Gregorian calendar changes, which again is giving us that jour J. We've got in French the Jeux Olympiques, that's G-O, J-O, J-O, and the Olympic Games in English is O-G. The Book of Og, the G-O, G-O, Julian Gregorian, jour J. Rasputin, so J is not a G, it's the Joker axis, it's not the G in the middle. 369, but you need that 12th door, you need that door of the abyss of Pisces. Pisces, the axis, the 6th, 12th house is the house of service. It's the going from the Little Mermaid, Pisces, she falls to earth with her legs. We just saw this Gambetta has something to do with the legs. Book of Og. I've just received this book, but basically I know that it's going to talk to me about that gap, the gap between Sagittarius and Scorpio, and the rising of these giants, Rasputin, these doctors. This is that famous where she's learning to pronounce her H, because in Cockney, the cock's knees, the kidneys, the cock rising, you don't pronounce your H. So she's learning to say her H. Doctor, and we've got, at the moment, we've got Michael Higgins has been criticised by Ursula von der Leyen's comments on the Israel-Hamas war. Islam, Ham. So Ursula means little she-bear. So we've got the big bear, we've got the two North Polaris. Got the four corners around the Polaris North Star. You've just got those four legs, which is just simply the swastika. Look at the images. This is your swastika. So you have the major and the minor, the lesser and the bigger. Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, and the Big Dipper, if we put here. swastika. So it's always the same. In the center of the four humours, the four corners, you have that 5-pointed Venus star. And that's what we've got in the tarot. They've got Goldilocks and the three bears. There's always 3 legs above the horizon. There's always one hidden hand. There's always a summer. There's always a triangle missing from the horizon. So here we've got Michael D. Higgins, which I've spoken a lot about. For me, it's just like Peter Sellers has criticized Ursula von der Leyen's comments on the Israel-Hamas war. Ursula, little she-bear, origin Latin, meaning little she-bear. Ursula is a feminine name of Latin origin, imploring caution against quick assumptions. So, adding a notable vulnerability to an otherwise ferocious being, the little she-bear. So, von der Leyen comes from the ley line, and ley means rock, so von der Leyen just means of from the rock. It's a German family name that means from the meadow. It is a noble title, indicating that the family was of the landed gentry or nobility. The name is commonly found in the regions of Lower Saxony, North Rhine, Westphalia and Hesse in Germany. The Aryans. Mr. Higgins said the EU Commission President was not speaking for Ireland, and she wasn't speaking for the opinions that they hold. He was speaking at the World Food Forum in Rome, where he joined criticisms of von der Leyen's comments on the Middle East. So President Higgins, Mr. Higgins, the little leprechaun, the shamrock, again, picnic, the summer thrice, the victory, the Nike, the shamrock, the rock, and this for me looks just like something going on with sealed with a loving kiss. P.S. I love you with love, with Russia from love, with love from Russia. So Mr. Higgins, yep, that's that. And then here, Rasta, Mars, Wars, in Virgo, Virgin, RAS, Hamas. I've already read that. So Ophiuchus, serpent bearer, the bear, Gregory, bullseye, Tesla, Tess of the Durba, urban, turban, Vils, west meets east, north meets south, and the new orthodox, the doctor, what's up doc, Looney Tunes, the docs cross, following or conforming to the traditional or generally accepted rules or beliefs of a religion, philosophy or practice. Burke's views, so we've got the burqa and the turban were orthodox in his time. From Russia with love, Swalk, sealed with a loving kiss. P.S. I love you, an intimate portrait of Peter Sellers. From Russia with love is the 5th novel by the English author Ian Fleming to feature his fictional British Secret Service agent James Bond. So Harry, in the book I'm reading, you know, what a lot of trauma he's been through. I mean, the mind control and the military training and the stuff he went through. And now he's been set up with this Mary Magdalene. I don't know if he's aware of it all. I really don't. You know, we've got the son, George Harris' son, the son of Bambi, the mother died, Diana, the moon goddess, and the trauma, and him with his meeting with, doing a lot of jumping around, but so there you have the headless knight, the new black Madonna, winged victory. Eris is on the V for Pisces white as Rahu enters into Pisces Ketu into Virgo black. So that was from the 4th of October, but this is at the Louvre, the she-wolf who feeds Romulus and Remus, this new axis, the 13th, 14th, your rah-rah Rasputin. So, West meets East, North meets South, and the new Orthodox is rising. So, Russia with Love is the 5th novel by the English. Yeah, so I was saying Hare, it's, you know, Hare, and it's very much like in Narnia. You've got the 4 children, you've got William and Kate in England. Harry, for some reason, has had to go to America because America is where they need to bring in this new Aryan, you know, he's got the red hair. Fleming wrote the story in early 1956 at his Goldeneye estate in Jamaica. Iron Lion Zion, the Ra-Yah God, the Rasta Ra. At the time he thought it might be his final Bond book. There lived a certain man in Russia long ago. He was big and strong and his eyes a flaming glow. Most people look at him with terror and with fear, but to Moscow chicks he was such a lovely dear. He could preach, so we got the stag. This is your Saint Martin de Tours. This is the lunar pillar, moon exalted in Taurus, rising this sun god. And Harry has got moon in Aries. He's got moon in Aries. So, full of ecstasy and fire, but he also was the kind of teacher women would desire. So he was a doctor. If we look at this video, we cut the music, the sound. Right, so our guest of honor, Father Rasputin. I didn't know that there was this film. So here we've got the Looney Tunes, we've got the Abyss, we've got Neptune moving into Pisces, Pluto back to Capricorn. It's going to be very difficult. This is all the mental health rising, but don't worry, because you've got your Ophiuchus, your 13th sign, you've got the vampire, you've got the Rocky Horror Show, there's the goats, we've got Rasputin, it's the canon, and he's got his 2 ladies. Are you a monk? Are you waiters or Englishmen? Oh yeah, are you a monk or a ballet dancer? Yeah, I'm going to be talking about Billy Elliot's ballet, the bal of E.T. So Capricorn, the Queen, Capricorn, and this is Sagittarius. This is the merging of Sagittarius and Capricorn. So he's going to heal her son, the Black Madonna's son. Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. So the motherland, Capricorn, the big bear. And we've got this little bear, Ursula Minor and Major. So Virgo taking over the place from Taurus. Got Mars in Virgo. Corners. We've got the summer triangle, the winter triangle. So what's here? The winter triangle, the summer triangle axis, this spring and autumn down here. And we're entering this abyss area as Neptune. So I've got, my dog is snoring. Honey, I did put her in the other room. Honey. Yep, she's making a lot of noise. So this area, which is normally the 12th house, Virgo, normally the 6th house, it is the most vulnerable. It's mutable, earth, and water. I know all about this. Lavette's new video, I posted her Eclipse video, but she's done a new video about fear, facing fear, which is something, you know, I have a duplicated 12th house which opens in Aquarius, and it covers 3 signs: Aquarius, Pisces and Aries for the 12th house, and the 6th house is opened by Leo, Virgo and Libra. I've just got Pluto and Uranus opposing all my planets in the 12th house. So dealing with fear, getting through the abyss, learning how to wade through the fog, and, you know, dealing with hidden enemies, dealing with illusions, dealing with fear has been the story of my life. And, you know, now I'm really at a stage where I have Saturn conjunct to my sun. So I've got Leo opening my 6th door. The sun rules Leo. I've got Aquarius opening my 12th door. Saturn rules Aquarius. I've got this conjunction of Saturn and the sun and my Chiron and my North nodes, which, you know, this Pisces house, I'm going to read you some key words of these 2 houses so you understand, you know, what we're entering. Words for this Pisces energy: disappearance, what disappears, those who disappear, loss, what we lose, secret, mysteries, under wraps, unexplored, unknown, fear, phobias, psyche, psychiatry, psychiatrist, madness, mental institution, mental diseases, illnesses, hospital, doctors in the hospital, invisibly be invisible, what is hard to find, drugs, pharmaceutical, pharmacy, pharmacists, lonely places on the outskirts, nearby hospitals, prisons, mental hospitals, monasteries, holy places. What is of religion, divine character, church, icon, divine, paradise, heavenly, God, contact with God, hotels, hospitality. Welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place. Yeah, so, you know, such a lovely place. You can never leave, or something like that. Night by night, dream to sleep, to be asleep, bedroom, bad, a bed, mistake by mistake, wrong, erroneous, abyss, chasm, oil, petrol station, gas, petrol, dope, drug addict, drug dealer, photo, photographer, camera, false and sincerely, forgery, to forge, alias, impersonate, fog, foggy, vaguely, to research, laboratory, science, doctorates, the sea, on the sea, fisherman, net, to fish, fish, all places at sea, islands in the sea, so whales, drowning, to drown, poison, to be poisoned, to poison someone, godfather, at the godfather's, by the godfather, get away, to escape, to run away. So that's your Pisces energy. That's what we're dealing with, mental awareness. And the key words to Virgo. So to work, on a workplace, colleagues from work, place of work, workshop, office, where the workplace is, work conditions, from work, at work, be diligent, only interested in the work, those who work for us are workers, service. It's about service. Both of these axes are about service. Health, disease, medical center, health center. So it's your Florence Nightingale. She's the nurse. That's why at the 2012 Olympics you had that whole nurse image coming up from World War II, and now we're taking it to a whole new level, from the World War II, the Florence Nightingales, to the rah-rah Rasputins, healers, gurus, everything that you see, mental health. And that's why Hare is working, doing all this mental health And, you know, there are just gurus. His personal healer has become somebody very famous. I think they all have dodgy faces, and I think it's anything to take people away from finding the four humours, to find the true fifth elements, to find astrology, the inner space. And, you know, this has been turned into outer space. It's been turned into technology. We're not fully in the age of Aquarius yet. We're in an 11th house energy of Pisces in 11th house, that energy of Aquarius. So they're mixing these energies. We've got Neptune right on that borderline cusp, opening the cusp right now, which is enormous, making this inconjunct line, you know, where people are really beginning to feel this Looney Tunes energy. And all these years of preparation, how are we going to use it now? How are we going to come to our service? So health center, a general practitioner, all about health, health food store, the one who cures, health insurance card, prescription, macrobiotic, healthy lifestyle. This is the holistic high priestess, Virgo. Be a subtenant, to rent, boarders, lodgers, veterinary, medicine, veterinarian, domestic animals, pets, food stores for pets. This is Dr. Dolittle. This is the girl who talks to animals. This is Sleeping Beauty, Snow White. Analytical, to analyze, analysis, chess, stepfather, stepmother, foster parents, children, a parallel, places where we keep our wardrobe. This is the wardrobe in Narnia, aunts, uncles, stomach, tea, honey, bee, beehive, ant. So just like in Jupiter ascending, and you've got the girl who talks to the bees. This is, you know, using the Pluto and Virgo generation. Now Pluto's entering Capricorn. It's going to be activating all this generation, and it's making this axis, which is so strong right now. We've got all this. We're going to have Uranus entering Taurus onto the feminine axis. We're going to have Jupiter entering Taurus, and this North Node coming into Pisces, and Neptune coming into Pisces. He's really working. This semi-sextile between Pluto and Neptune is going to be a theme for a while, as this cusp door is opened into Pisces. This little so we've got sextile between Pluto and Neptune, this semi-sextile between Pluto and Saturn. You know, this is also this theme until Saturn moves forwards. Fourth, that little semi-sextile will carry on, but this is really your door into the true Twin Peaks here. Some posts now to end. So we had the stabbing in Aras, that northeast 50 north, east 2. In Arras for Friday the 13th, and then we've just had in Brussels another attack. Why is Sweden being threatened by terrorists? So this just makes me think of Arras, Brussels, AB, Alpha Omega, Omegaverse, also known as ABO, an abbreviation for Alpha Beta Omega, is a subgenre of speculative erotic fiction, and originally a subgenre of erotic / fan fiction. Its premise is that a dominance hierarchy exists in humans, which are divided into dominant alphas, neutral betas, and submissive omegas. So I put here Stockholm Syndrome, because this is why we've got this there was 2 Swedish people killed in Brussels. Stockholm Syndrome is a proposed condition in which hostages develop a psychological bond with their captors. It is supposed to result from a rather specific set of circumstances, namely the power imbalances contained in hostage-taking, kidnapping and abusive relationships. Alphas are the highest rank in the dominance hierarchy. Then we've got betas are subordinate to alphas. Omegas are the lowest rank. And where are the gammas? Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, iota, kappa. Okay, so it basically comes from the Greek alphabet, and then in A Brave New World, you've got the alphas, the top of the caste, the betas, just below the alphas. The gammas are the first of the labourer classes, and delta, like gammas, are cloned via the Bokanovsky process. So this is where we have the free martins. 70% of the population are sterile females that have the comportment of men. That's what we find in free martins. So you know, this is what I've been talking about for years. Free martins, Brave New Worlds. So free martins are women who are born sterile due to exposure to male hormones in the womb. This is the same condition that affects some calves who are born and referred to as free martins. So we've got the Russian doll, we've got the Cold War, the experimentation on the women and being injected in the womb. So these women are coming out incredibly beautiful, sterile women with a higher sexual desire, just like these free martin. So this is taking over from the Virgo, the Gemini, the Virgo girl, bringing up these twins within the Virgo, the free martin, taking away from the moon goddess Diana and bringing in this Armistice image in Virgo. Was it Gambetta, Gammases and Betas, and this is it. This is the car system in the Brave New World. Alphas, betas, gammas, deltas, and epsilon. So the fifth element is the clone. Epsilons wear black. They are very happy with their station in life as a result of their conditioning. Yeah. I've looked at that a little bit. I'm going to put this into my newsletter. I've just ordered this book. It's really talking about the importance of the Hesperus and the Phosphorus, the evening and morning star. This book I've just got. Eclipse in France. Again, you've got the quartered, the urbanism, testa urba, the turban, always showing us the red shift, blue shift. And this alchemical, we've got Gilles, on the ball, on the ball. And then we've got this new world, the five showing us this black week. So they give us the seven and the five. 7 and the 5, which is exactly what I saw in this book. One final note for readers is that due to the decomposed state of source documents, both chapters 5 and 7 are incomplete. So you've always got the 7 chakras, 5-pointed star, the 4 corners, and the Trinity. So the 5 and the 7, that's 5th house, 7th house, Leo, Libra are incomplete. In fact, chapter 5 is more or less reduced to a gratuitous killing that King Og and his son Augeas participate in. Chapter 7 is when King Og speaks his final words prior to battle with Moses. So chapter 7 is Libra, the library, the liber, to liberates, and Moses is Aries opposite. This is the serpent, the bronze serpent, all those bits shall live. Well, chapter 7 was in pieces, the argument about whether to call the incoming attackers Israelites. So this is also, you know, this is Alpha Omega, Aries Libra. We've got the North-South node snake leaving, and we've got Venus in Leo, 5th house. So we're leaving that AB, and we have that attack in Aras and Belgium, Brussels. While chapter 7 was in pieces, the argument about whether to call the incoming attackers Israelites or not became the focus of many, many arguments. Yes, they were Israelites, but historically at that time they were not defined as such in the translation of King's Og. So, Olympic Games, Og, torrent of profanity, it was concluded that the written target should be acutely defined rather than left open to suggestion. This is in fact Moses and his people whom Og is addressing. For brevity's sake, the word Israelite is used in this sequence. The goat, just like in Midnight Express, the boy's called Billy, and El, Israel, hello, hello, yellow, yellow, hello. The Lord is my God, Israel. So Elliot means the Lord is my God. El is also the same meaning. So Is and Ra, lunar, solar, and the God El. Pay your bill, Gates, to open the gate. Pluto returns to Capricorn, black, from Sagittarius, Elo. Elliot is a gender-neutral name of Hebrew origin, meaning the Lord is my God, originally a biblical name derived from Eliah. It is now a popular choice for religious and secular families alike. Variants of Elliot include Elliot, Elot, and Eli, offering you plenty of options when it comes to spelling. Billy Elliot is a film from 2000, that's 23 years, to today, 2023. And I'm going off on one here. 2 and 3 is 5. 5 is V. B is the second. E is the 5th letter. 2 and 5 is 7. So I'm talking about that 5 and 7 again. L is the 7. The wings is the L's in French. Air, the hair. Hartley. So this was before I knew about the attack. Hartley, Hare, HH88 in Gemini on Pollux. Ra, lunar pillar becomes masculine solar pillar. We've got Mars in Virgo bringing up the femme solar. The air. Today the alchemical marriage, eclipse, solar, ring of fire in Virgo, Virgin, Mary on Blue Star, Spiker, Sun, Moon, Mercury, South Node conjunct on Spiker, Tesla, Tess of the D'Urberville, LA Womb of Man, 369 Tesla. You need the 12th door. You need to understand this area of Pisces, which is, you know, that's what I was saying before with my Saturn there. I just know that I have Saturn there. Saturn gives me that protection, opening my 12th door in Aquarius. Saturn can protect me from, you know, a lot of people can't cope. I'm reading this book, Spare, as I told you, and I just read this bit where he goes through this intense training it's in Cornwall, this for his helicopter training, and this really gruesome training where the other men he did the training with, 2 of them, they went mad. They didn't get through it. So very much is, you know, if you want to come back to Aries, to Aryan, Chiron, the key, the Anki key, the Enki, the key, the last Chi-Rho, leaving Pisces, that 12th door, and you come back to find your head, you come back, you come back. You got to get through. This is the house of undoing. So a lot of us have been preparing for years. We're ready to help other people, to be of service through this gap. As Crystal Time explaining in her video, this passage, you either go, you know, this is the passage through the underworlds, or you stay in the underworlds. That's, you know, that Klein, that book of the underworld that I covered, the Neil Klein, the underworlds. That, yeah, this is the whole Alice in Wonderland. This is where we are. So Ra, lunar pillar becomes masculine, solar pillar becomes feminine, gender one neutral, Lord of the Rings is lunar, Ra, solar, L, God. Today the alchemical marriage, eclipse, solar ring of fire in Virgo, Virgin. We read that, you know that. So conjunct on Spiker, Tesla, Tess of the D'Urbervilles, LA woman 369, Tesla makes that triangle. All the winter, summer, spring, there's always three above the horizon. The birth of the Dauphin, the sun, Tesla, electric, LO, electric light orchestra, the new sun, great expectations, Gemini, Mercury, boy, Pip, and Virgo, Mercury, girl, Estelle, 3773L, Hartley, Hare, 103, Phosphorus, evening star, Phosphorus, morning star. They tell us your pH between that alkaline and acidic. 103, there's your 13. I showed you in the last video that Japanese tree, 103 years old. Comet cometh in Gemini, Mars in Virgo, Venus in Leo, Saturn at home, Aquarius on the lamp. So in this clip, I haven't seen this film, like electricity scene. So again, it's this electricity, this boy, Weaver, Ishtar. And then there's this interesting breaking free, this river of freedom that we're going through. Dreamt the night before the stabbing and the night of the stabbing, that Friday the 13th, I'm dreaming about Macron. So he was all over me like a lost puppy dog. I just remember him being annoying in the dream. He was asking me questions. So a mac is a mackerel, which is originally a type of fish, but also slang for a pimp. So the pimp and the virgin, yes, mac or mac means in English slang a pimp, a sexually confident man. To mac on means to flirt, to make sexual advances, to make out, kiss passionately. This is all a bit dated, perhaps kind of 80s, 90s. Ron, so you had Ronald Reagan, old Mac, Ronald, Donald Trump, Ronald and Mac, meaning mountain of strength or ruler's counselor. Ron is a name meant to live on, one of the less unusual names from the Harry Potter universe. So there was a Ron in Harry Potter's, your HP again. Ron still holds a certain amount of magic. Ron is usually used as a nickname for Ronald, which comes from the Old Norse name Rognvald. So Eliza, hormonal, Liza, line, Elizabeth, Macbeth, line, son. Mac, Scottish and Irish, Gaelic surname prefix meaning son. It is equivalent to the Anglo-Norman and Hiberno-Norman Fitz and Welsh, formerly a map, just as the latter has become initial P, as in the modern names Price or Pritchard. Mac has in some names become initials C and K. Okay. explaining ballet is the ball, the bull is the astrology wheel, balen from Latin ballo. So the ball is very much the material, and the wheel is the spiritual. The ballo, balir, meaning to dance, bal, et, worship. In ballet, there are 5 basic positions of the feet, numbered 1 through to 5. Each of the positions utilizes turnout or a 90-degree rotation of the leg from the hip joint. Occurring in just 5 parts of the zodiac, Venus retrograde trace out a 5-pointed star. The pentagram or pentacle, the 5-pointed star inside a circle. Through the course of one's lifetime, Venus only retrogrades in 5 signs. The Baal, which suggests that the word was not regarded as a proper name, nevertheless, despite the biblical tendency to avoid the use of the word as a proper name, it is now quite clear that by pre-Israelite times the term had become the usual name of the weather god of Syria, Palestine, Sirius, the keeper of the 4 corners. The worship of Baal in Syria, Palestine was inextricably bound to the economy of the land, which depends on the regularity and adequacy of the rains. Rain in Spain lies mainly on the plain. Unlike Egypt and Mesopotamia, which depend on irrigation, the Promised Land drinks water from the rain of heaven. During the summer months, the rains cease, but the temporary drought is no threat unless it is abnormally prolonged. Figs and grapes, so the sycamore tree gives us that milk from the fig, and the grapes ripen during the dry season. The grain harvest also takes place before the rains resume. In a normal good year, when the rains come in due season, there is no hiatus in productivity, for the land yields an increase. The trees produce their fruit. The threshing overlaps, the vintage overlaps the sowing, and there is food aplenty, prosperity, and peace. So this is again that axis of Virgo and Pisces, water and earth, mutable water, mutable earth, giving us the Vesica Pisces passage, the chalice of Alice. We've got a tour of Glastonbury, that's the torso, the Taurus, the Torah, that's Taurus. A series of bad years which were apparently believed to come in 7-year cycles. So this is, but not all years are good. And in a bad year or a series of bad years, when the rain falls, the skies become like iron, the land like brass, and man's toil is futile, for the earth will not yield its increase. A series of bad years which was apparently believed to come in 7-year cycles. So it's the cycle of Uranus. He's going to enter Earth, Taurus, would be catastrophic. Thus, in any year, anxiety about the rainfall would be a continuing concern of the inhabitants, which would suffice to give rise to rites to ensure the coming of the rains. Thus, the basis of the Baal cult was the utter dependence on life on the rains, which were regarded as Baal's bounty. Not sure what this is, I'll read it. Just had a tiny incy wincy Ishtar spider weave a question for anyone Cain and Abel. Is Ra Elon, the lone scum musk, the actual mosque of the October pink peak Demidi pick night? So we've got all the Cancer, pink Panther, October, Venus, pink, peak Demidi, pick Nike, wings, Samothras, victory, Nicola, Bulai, Ion, so this is the ion breast of Venus, actually now the new solar Spider-Man pillar, or is Isis still our third eye? And when we have the new lunar pillar, Ra, axe of Isis, horizon in Zion, will I am be the new Ukraine vertical and Putin horizon line, then at last be 13 the new year. Is Isis and Ra at last going to make the last leg L007 true line null, so everyone can light their own electrics lamp PBL on? That's the lead 56 elements. No, it's the 82nd barium is 56. The bar black sheep. So I was writing all this and having those dreams, and then there was that stabbing, and I wrote this before the stabbing. So this is on the 12th. Tomorrow, almost new black moon eclipse, waning slither of a snake croissant, dark side of the black Madonna is Friday, Vendredi, Venus 13th. And 103p, Hartley Hare, HH88 hidden hand, comet on Pollux Gemini, and Venus still on the feet of Jesus Lion Heart. Hartley, Regulus, Leo, Lion, Pride, Gates. So these are the gates through. It's the passage of Ishtar. As we see in the Seigneur, the Lord of the Rings, this is a ring of fire eclipse. It's the marriage, it's the passage, it's the light through. Mary Magdalene, one for all and all for one. Akka 14415V, V for vendetta, victory tomorrow. Home of Elon, Israel, Musk, Mosque, Mask, Dart, Egg, N. Means hate in French. Egg, Ishtar, last leg, N on. Ring of fire, eclipse the 14th. Black Inanna, Friday, Nan. Inanna is the ancient Sumerian goddess of love, sensuality, fertility, procreation, and also of war. She later became identified by the Akkadians and Assyrians as the goddess Ishtar, and further with the Haiti Suska, the Phoenician Astarte, and the Greek Aphrodite, among many others. So this was before I knew. We had where I live 1111, or 2 times 9, 18, 18, 360 where I live. So we still had that heat going on. And yeah, and what did I say here? Northeast, Israel, southwest opposing northeast. So they've got the 1111 opposing. So we had in the northeast in Ara here, 2021. We've got 777777 against 1111. The whole wheel. And where I am is the Labyrinth, the Ishtar, the Lion Gates, and then northeast is where the attack was. So this is before I knew. And so I'm saying the acts of Isis, obviously X marks the Elon Musk Mosque Atir Tar. So there's Venus, there's Enki and the Moon conjunct Sun, Mercury, Spica, Mars, and Hartley Hare. And there's Ishtar, and there is that black slither of that last waning before the eclipse on that Spica, and there's Black Beauty, which I saw flashed around, and there you've got the mother, the father, the 2 children, and you've got the horse, you've got the ara in French is the stud, you've got the new stud, you've got the Jupiter, you've got the Martin, Mars and Jupiter, which should be that picture of Christ in the middle of the 4 humours. You got Black Beauty, BB, Catch 22, Venus Flytrap. I asked her to tag me. So the underworld ruled by Pluto, Pisces is the world of the collective unconscious and spirit. So W Perspiron in there. Sappho is endowed with wisdom and insight by Virgo, the modest virgin. Sappho's love blossoms in Virgo's embrace like a magnificent tapestry, a mosaic of complex beauty made from the purest of the heart's fibers. Each syllable of Virgo's Sappho's poetry is a reflection of the underlying dignity and patient power that the poetess embodies. With this in the house of Virgo, it's known for their attention to detail and thorough approach to the artistic endeavors. It calls for careful consideration and in-depth analysis. Are loyal, tend to others' needs ahead of their own. Word of caution, they shouldn't let their critical nature prevent them from seeing the forest for the trees. So she did this beautiful post. And that's exactly what we had. Sappho was there, conjunct Mercury and Persephone, going into that underworld, right if I can find the golden bow that Crystal talks about in her video. She makes this connection. So, you know, we're going into the golden age. This has been prepared by the Theosophical Society. This is, you know, coming through into this Virgo Pisces axis, making this river through. We've got in New Zealand a documentary out called The River of Freedom. This is your liberty, Eris, the liberator, which is talking about all the people who opposed the Vache qui rit coming in. Lavette's video, she's since done another video. It was my last video, so I think we're there. We're there. I'm just playing. So Coca-Cola, CC 33, Pepsi Cola. What am I saying about PC? Oh yeah, Pollux and Castor, obviously, Pepsi Cola and CC. Yep, so Gemini, keeper of the four corners. They've got that spine at Pollux and Castor, Pepsi Cola. 103.13. Contrary to popular belief, there are 13 cranial nerves. The 13th cranial nerve, commonly referred to as the nervus terminalis or terminal nerve, is a highly conserved, multifaceted nerve found just above the olfactory bulbs in humans and most vertebrate species. In most forms, its fibers course from the rostral portion of the brain to the olfactory and nasal epithelia. Although there are differing perspectives as to what constitutes this nerve, in most species, neurons appear to be its defining feature. The involvement of this trophic puppet, as well as the nerve's association with the development of the hypothalamic pituitary gondole axis, suggest a primary role in reproductive development and in humans disorders such as Kalman syndrome. In some species, this enigmatic nerve appears to influence sensory processing, sexual behavior, autonomic and vasomotor control, and pathogenic defense. In this review, we provide a general, so this is very much like the medulla, where we've got Uranus right now at 0 point, the center, you know, of Fucius. You got to get past. Have we got? I've just opened up so much today. So yeah, there we've got Ophiuchus, that 13th sign, right in the middle. So we really had a marriage of Venus on the 13th, Friday the 13th, every time we have a Friday the 13th, Black Friday, we've got this marriage between Venus and Ophiuchus. Before we had this on the front newspapers. I think I mentioned this in my last video. An hour and a half, I managed to do all that in. So we're going to have Venus still in Leo, making this semi-square to Mars, Mercury and Sun, all conjunct in Virgo, not in Libra, as we see here. And a big square between Pluto and the Moon. The Moon is going to be on Noon Key, right on into this attack into Scorpio. So the moon right now is in Scorpio, and she's going to be making it. Let's go to today. So here's the moon right now. She will be on that noon key, the key to the MC, killing. So we've got, this is a big date on the 21st, and I'll do another video before the next eclipse. But for this 21st, we're going to have, for all this period now, we've got this Mercury and Sun, this Apollo energy, birth. You've got those two sides. You've got Apollo and Dionysus. So this is the more educated Mercury. He's exalted. He's at home. So this is your chance to be that more educated, to not bring up this dark side of when she's good, she's very, very good. When she's bad, she's Horus. And Venus is going to be beginning her journey to come for the next eclipse. She will begin her journey into Virgo. And then for the day that Neptune goes forwards into Pisces. So Venus is in detriment in Virgo, but exalted in Pisces. So we're going to have that energy as Venus enters Virgo, as Neptune, or is it Saturn that moves forward? No, yes, Saturn that moves forward on November the 4th. Correct, on November the 4th. Saturn will be turning direct, so no longer Venus opposing Saturn, but Neptune right on that cusp opening, and Venus now in detriment. So it's your time before we get to these Halloween dates to use that Mercury, this, you know, this higher Mercury, superior rather than inferior. It's the time to really bring out the best side of this humble girl, the lion. You know, she doesn't have that pride of the lion. Upload this video, get my newsletter done, and I'm sending you all my love. And just stay cool, just stay centered. You know, there really is a place where in the middle of that teacup storm, where there's always that heart space, you've got the space between each breath where you can just remain centered. Okay, I love you. Bye for now.